Good morning, everyone, and happy Monday. Welcome to your Monday Mojo. And as you know, if you've been following my videos, we're covering the 34 talents that you'll find in the Strengths Finder assessment. And we are covering all of the ones currently in the track of executing, right? And we've got 4 more to go. So today we're going to cover discipline. And what I want you to start thinking about is, and maybe you're already seeing it, what happens when I've got a person that's got 3 or more of their top talents in one area? Well, that should tell you that this person, if we're using executing as an example, this person's going to be really good at getting things done, right? So if there's a specific area of your business or your life where structure is really important, and deadlines are important, and you don't want to have a wasting of resources, okay, because that could be very expensive in certain businesses, then executing is critical. And you want people with a lot of talent in those areas, right? So you want to look perhaps for a person who's got 3 or more of their top talents in execution, right? And depending upon the situation or the job, perhaps you want someone who's a little more balanced, who needs a good amount of executing, but maybe they also need to be very strong at building relationships and being influential in their job. Okay, so think about those things as you continue to work with strengths and apply them to your specific business. So today we're talking about discipline. And I don't know about you, but when I think about discipline, I think about the military. I think about the principle of a school, right? Where we're dealing with teaching people how to live in a world of structure. And in the military, again, it's life or death. So structure is really, really important. Now, a person with discipline is going to really value and thrive in an environment of structure, of order, of deadlines, right? They really like predictability and they like to plan things. They thrive in that, right? They enjoy it. So when you take them away from that structure, just understand that they're not going to be as successful as they would be if they are allowed to be very organized and very methodical in how they operate day in and day out, right? So for them, it feels good, right? As opposed to maybe there are other talents that we'll cover where we only are very structured and orderly and disciplined because we want others to respect us, right? But for someone with discipline, it's just that that's how they are built, and they really need to wake up every morning with a plan. They need to have a plan of action. They need to check things off, and they need to approach their day from the perspective of deadlines. Okay, so organization is really very important to them. So let's go over the quick and dirty of a person who has discipline. Okay, they are an efficient manager of very limited resources. So again, if money is important and you don't have a lot of resources in whatever it is that you're doing, having someone with discipline is going to help you. So I think of project management, right, where we have to monitor our resources very, very closely. You may want someone who is extremely disciplined, and they're going to thrive and feel good when they go through those project plans. They love to plan in advance, and they are going to follow that plan to a T. You don't have to worry about them creating it and then forgetting about it. They're going to follow it. Okay, that is their Bible, day in and day out. They again, they love things to be very precise and detail oriented. They need a lot of structure and organization. So if you work for a company that's very flexible, you know, part of their culture is not worrying too much about when you get there and when you leave and who you work with. You could be a part of an organization like that, but you're going to need your job to be one that has a lot of structure and detail in order for you to thrive. You may not ultimately do very well in an organization that's extremely flexible. Okay, so consider that. You hate chaos and confusion, and you don't really enjoy flying by the seat of your pants, right? Whereas someone perhaps with creativity or ideation, which is under the realm of strategic, they would do better with that kind of environment. And Another metaphor, perhaps, we use the military or a principal or a teacher where they're working with children, and discipline is very important. Um, a mama duck, and how she teaches her babies to follow her, right? So it's follow the leader. A person with discipline could potentially be a really great leader, right? With execution, with discipline, if they also have some of those other combinations that leaders need. Leaders also need to be very influential and very strategic and great with relationships as well. But again, a mama duck as a metaphor is good for us to think about, because we want to be able to give instruction to the people who work with us so that they can follow us and we can do things in the right way and in the right order. So we always talk a bit about a barrier label. How do others see us, right? And of course, we see ourselves as being very productive and very responsible because we get things done if we have discipline. But others can see us as being very compulsive, being control freaks, and also just being very resistant to change because we like things in a structure. So think about this also in a relationship, right? Maybe you have discipline and your spouse has a completely different top 5 talent. And sometimes they can rub each other in the wrong way, but they also could be great partners, right? Because what you do well, your partner doesn't necessarily do well, and they do something that you don't perhaps enjoy doing. Okay, so think of managing a household. So sometimes it's really just awareness that helps us to create strong partnerships when we feel that rub, that something doesn't feel quite right and I don't want to do something that's not natural for me. So I hope that this was helpful. I'm sure that you have people in your life that are highly disciplined, and perhaps in your organization as well, and you can see how they thrive through that organization and those checklists and project plans. So it's been a pleasure chatting with you today about discipline. Join me next week, and we are going to cover, we're going to cover focus, another great way to execute. So have a fantastic Monday, and I will see you next week.